It's a celebration of all things military here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Troy Calhoun looks for his second straight 9-win season as the head coach of Air Force, but he's got to slow down. Quarterback Case Keenum and the nation's top offense. The Cougars take on the Falcons in a dramatic contrast of styles today here in Fort Worth, Texas. And the bowl season rolls on as we welcome you to a clear but chilly Fort Worth, Texas. The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl and the 6th edition. The Houston Cougars coming in at 7-5, taking on an Air Force team that's had a terrific year at 8-4. And hi everybody, Terry Gannon along with David Norrie. Glad you're with us to kick off another full lineup today of bowls, 5 in all, 3 of them on the ESPN family of networks. And this one, David, figures to be a high-scoring affair when you've got the nation's #1 offense in Houston, led by a guy, Case Keenum, who's thrown for well over 4,000 yards.
His numbers compare very favorably to guys like Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, the quarterbacks that headed back to New York for the Heisman presentation. A #1 offense in the country, 43 touchdowns on the year, only 10 interceptions. And what really stands out about Case Keenum is his accuracy. 45 to 50 attempts per game, and he's hitting close to 68% of his balls. Gives his receivers a great shot to run with the football after the reception. I'm really looking forward to getting a look at Case Keenum with the naked eye this afternoon.
You would imagine next year he would be very much a part of that Heisman talk, the discussion throughout the year. On the other side with Air Force, they couldn't be more different on offense. It might be the Air Force, but it's a ground attack and the 5th best in the nation.
They're dynamic. It's a triple option attack, and really when this offense turned around was mid-season. 2 freshmen taking over, Tim Jefferson at quarterback, Asher Clark at tailback. They also have a significant threat from the fullback position. 2 will get the start today at fullback, but Tim Jefferson, you look at him, for a freshman, very mature, beyond his years, great decisions with pitches, keeping the football, and he can create some real problems when he keeps with his feet.
Air Force won the first matchup between the two. They didn't complete a pass in that one. Troy Calhoun leading the way for Air Force. Kevin Sumlin, the head coach for Houston, wired for sound when we come back.
So, all right, good to see you. All right.
The president helping us welcome you and usher in the 6th edition of the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, and it is a nod to all 5 branches of the military here. It's been a big part of this community the last few years, big part of the bowl season. The last meeting, September 18th, it was moved because of Hurricane Ike up to Dallas. Air Force led 31-7. A mad dash by the Cougars to come back. Almost got there. Keenum with 3 touchdowns in the final 20 minutes, and as I mentioned, Air Force not completing a pass in that game. Kevin Sumlin played at Purdue, and on the other side of the field, Troy Calhoun, who played for the Air Force Academy, was a Falcon himself, and 17-8 overall. Another great year for him. He said this year, if you can go to a bowl game, you can win 8 games and have a chance to win 9. It's been terrific.
You look at Calhoun, a lot on the line in this football game. He comes out of this bowl game with a win. That'll be 2 straight seasons. His first 2 seasons, 9 wins each year.
Houston won the toss. They defer to the second half. Spencer Armstrong bringing this one back out to the 25-yard line, and a scramble as the ball's on the turf. So they're trying to sort it out. Houston may have it. They come away with it. Still haven't seen a signal from the officials. They're still scrambling. And it's going to be Cougar football. A delayed reaction by the officials. They were still looking for it in the pile, and the Cougars had it.
It did appear that the ball came out late. Spencer Armstrong, not a very good job here at the top of securing the football.
Yeah, it's definitely a fumble. So there's the ball at the bottom of the pile, and who knows how many times it changes hands then.
It looked like Tim Monroe was first on the scene for Houston.
So here comes Case Keenum, just a sophomore from Abilene, Texas, and he's thrown for over 4,700 yards this year, averaging almost 400 yards per game. They'll keep it on the ground. Bryce Bell, some good yardage inside the 20. all the way down to the 17-yard line. Bell, just a freshman from Tatum, Texas. How about the weapons for Houston on offense?
Well, we talked about it. The #1 offense in the country. Keenum, so accurate throwing the football. Bell took over in the 4th game of the season. He's done a terrific job as a freshman. Hafner at tight end is the go-to guy in this offense.
2nd and 2, and they're looking to throw over the middle, wide open inside the 5, all the way down to the 2. Mark Hafner on the catch, the senior from Waller, Texas. Kind of a hybrid tight end, wide receiver type, but their leading receiver this year.
Houston comes out in 11 personnel. When you look at 11, that's a 1 and a 1. 1 back and 1 tight end, 3 wides. But with Hafner, as you mentioned, Terry, more of a 4 wide type of look. He splits out, and he is more of a wide receiver running routes.
So just like that, it's 1st and goal. Stacked up right at the 1. Trying to get there is Bell. No signal. He's going to be just shy. Bell, the freshman of the year in Conference USA. So it'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 1-yard line. Great break early on for the Cougars, and Air Force to play with this high-octane offense can't turn the ball over.
Keenum showing us some no huddle here on the first drive.
Calling the play at the line of scrimmage. Bell, the lone setback. Here he is, fights his way to the end zone. Touchdown already for the Cougars. 6 on the board as Bell takes it in from inside the 1. And David, throughout the year, Houston has had a number of games where they've gotten down early and had to come back with that high-powered offense. Today they get on the board first.
They have been known for their slow starts.
And they've already blown the cannons. We got smoke coming across the field from Manistow in the extra point. A good hold. Down, up, and good. So Manistow for the extra point, and Kevin Sumlin happy about the way things have gone so far, not only offensively, but with the defense as well, causing the fumble on the opening kickoff. 7-0 Cougars. Bell Helicopter, an aeronautics firm here in the Fort Worth area, the sponsor of this game last few years, and all 5 branches of the military, as I mentioned, represented here at Amon G. Carter Stadium. About 40,000 on hand. And tough break for Spencer Armstrong on that opening kick, a guy who's been one of the top wide receivers. There he is, number 26. He broke his leg early this season. He's been out the last 9, so he comes back, takes the opening kick, and he fumbles.
Yeah, not a very auspicious return for Spencer, and Spencer actually broke his leg recovering an onside kick in the first game against Houston.
Brandon Brinkley, the guy who recovered the fumble for Houston. So it's Reggie Rembert, who is back along with Jonathan Morzika, and there goes Rembert across the 20, just pounded at the 23. Hit hard, but he hung on to the football. Carson Blackman, cornerback on the stick.
Yeah, this Houston defense and special teams had some problems during the year, but from time to time, you look at the secondary players and some of the coverage players, they'll come up and they'll deliver a lick. And Houston is a pretty physical team when you talk defense and special teams.
So Tim Jefferson taking over the offense, and a guy who has started the last 7 games, 5-2 as a starting, won his first 5 games as the starting quarterback as a freshman. Asher Clark, the starting tailback, and then the fullback, Jared Two. A big gain across midfield to the 42 of Houston. Two, the sophomore from Park City, Utah, getting the start because Todd Newell may be out for the game with an injured ankle.
Yeah, not much of a drop-off with 2 in the lineup, and as a defense, the first thing you have to stop in this triple option threat offense is the fullback dive. Every play you got to make the tackle, whether the fullback receives the football or whether the quarterback continues outside, and Cougars not a very good job of shutting things down on the interior on that first play from scrimmage.
The man who is injured is the defensive end Tate Stewart from Katy, Texas. The impact players, Asher Clark, just a freshman, Lawrenceville, Georgia. And Two, you saw what he could do. He's more of a finesse runner than Newell is.
Yeah, Two has a little speed too. He has breakaway threat. He broke a 58-yard touchdown run against TCU, one of the better defenses in the country. And then Chris Thomas, a strong safety, is really a pleasure to watch. A guy that lines up all over the field for Air Force. Very talented player. in the secondary for Air Force.
So Stewart being helped off the field. The Falcons with that rushing attack, two, and Newell, Clark. It was Kyle Lumpkin and Xavier Stevens who split time the first couple of games. So Clark came on, Jefferson came on. Both teams looking very much, especially the starters, very different now than they did in that first matchup in September. In fact, Houston with 9 different starters. First down, straight ahead again with the fullback 2, fighting his way inside the 40 down to the 37. So a look at what they're trying to do, establish that first and foremost. You don't want to get down in this game. This is not an offense that comes back well.
Well, and you look at Air Force in the first game. Shea Smith was starting at quarterback. They did not show much triple option to Houston in the first game. This afternoon, we figure to see at least 20, maybe 25 snaps of triple option with Jefferson in the lineup at quarterback.
2nd and 5. They operate out of the eye this time. Option right. The pitch. Asher Clark, the freshman, bounces outside close to a first down. May have him just shy of that. Clark 5'8". That's all he is. 185 pounds.
He was a badly needed spark offensively at tailback mid-season when he came into the lineup. Not a breakaway threat. Doesn't have big home run speed, but he's able to make some people miss, and he does hit the hole in a hurry.
Troy Calhoun taking over for Fisher DeBerry, who was there for 23 years. End of the fullback, and ahead for the first down goes Jared too. Calhoun, though, in his 2nd year as the head coach, has spent time in the NFL, and really wants to get this program. The last 3 years before he took over, it had fallen a bit, so he's taken him now to 2 straight bowl games. Look, David, at that stack eye.
Yeah, they line up 3 backs behind Jefferson, and it gives them the ability to give you a power look as well as the ability to get outside in the option.
1st and 10. Here comes Asher. Big hole along the right side. Cuts back toward the goal. Knocked out at the 1. Almost got there. Got a good block from Kyle Halderman on the outside.
When you play wide receiver at Air Force, you're not going to get many balls, but you're called on to make blocks. A great job by Halderman. You see there on the outside, just inside the 10-yard line, and Tim Jefferson continues to make great decisions on the option, pitching the ball outside, drawing that end man on the line of scrimmage.
1st and goal from the 2, touchdown. 2 powers his way there. Oh, an impressive drive, and it started with that first play from scrimmage when they went for 35 yards. I think the Air Force might have some support here in Fort Worth at the Armed Forces Bowl. Ryan Harrison on for the extra point. He's been awfully good for them. Through the uprights. So Houston able to cause the turnover. They take it to the house, and then Air Force takes it all the way down the field. We got a tie ball game, 7-7.
Take a look at what I've done. Amazing.
Lieutenant Colonel Greg Gatson, who was the speaker at the luncheon yesterday back in May of 2007, serving in Iraq, severely wounded by a roadside bomb. And David, he lost both of his legs, a badly damaged right arm. He was a former linebacker at West Point. Big inspiration for the Giants last year.
Yeah, he really was. He was a cornerstone of the Giants' resurgence late season. Put together that string of wins all the way through the Super Bowl, the victory against New England, and he was a big part of that team believing down the stretch and eventually winning the World Championship.
Here Johnson, Tyron Carrier back deep. This is very short though, and the fair catch at the 35. Good field position for the Houston offense. They love college athletics. 1st and 10 Houston. Here comes Keenum on the roll, thrown. Dangerous pass. That one could have been picked off. Swatted away over the middle. Justin Moore, the man who got a hand up, the junior from Columbus, Ohio.
We talked about Case Keenum at the top and his accuracy, put together huge numbers, 43 touchdown passes, only 10 interceptions. What really stands out for me, 67.5% completions. And when you're averaging between 45-50 attempts per game, That is throwing the ball with a very high level of efficiency.
Those are sick numbers when you think about it.
They really are. They're Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, and Graham Harrell type numbers.
2nd and 10. They'll keep it on the ground. Bell falls at the 39. Stop there. Just a freshman, and their leading rusher, pretty impressive this year. With all the focus on the passing game, he's been a big part of that offense. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards.
He doesn't give you a lot of flash, doesn't give you a lot of side to side. You'll never mistake him for a Barry Sanders, but he's a straight ahead runner, and he will run through tackles.
3rd and 6. Keenum set up that screen, got some room near sideline, cross midfield. Bell on his way to the 20. Finally stopped there. Well, they set that up well. So on 3rd and 6, a gain of 40.
When you play against this #1 rated offense in the country, you have to stop their screen game. Keenum has a great gift of drawing the defense to him in the pocket, really sells the pass well before he drops the ball underneath. And you can see it in the numbers. Bell, 30 receptions on the year, over 13 yards per catch.
And Conference USA, you look at the top teams, there have been some big numbers put up this year. Quick throw over the middle, complete, just inside the 20. Tyron Carrier, the redshirt freshman from Houston. Now the turnaround happening after Houston started the season 1-3, David.
Well, they did, and you know, Case Keenum not only gives you the numbers and the accuracy, but this is a team, you documented it early in this football game, Terry, a team that has typically gotten behind in football games. Keenum has the ability to bring his team back. It's an intangible that you look for in a quarterback. A lot of comebacks this year.
Inside give, Bell, big hole again. Down to the 6 and a first down. 1st and goal, Houston. And you saw that graphic a moment ago at the bottom of the screen, though. They're trying to change that, and they talk so much about it. They have not won a bowl game since 1980. They have lost 8 straight bowls. Longest streak in the nation.
And of course, this was a team under Coach Yeoman, 1977 through 85. There was a day where Houston was going to a lot of Cotton Bowls. 4 major bowl games, 4 appearances between 77 and 85.
Andre Kahn in at tailback in motion, thrown this way though, down to the 3, complete. Chaz Rodriguez, sophomore from San Antonio, on the catch. I mean, none of these guys were born the last time they won a bowl game. Imagine that.
I was still in high school. Find that hard to believe.
I do find that hard to believe. You're right. But at Northwestern, of course, 1949 Rose Bowl. And that streak by the Irish now stopped. It was at 9.
Yeah, it was getting a little old, wasn't it?
Yeah, who would have ever thought Notre Dame would go 9 straight? Kahn fights his way to the goal line, and the pile stops right there. Houston players looking for a signal, and none forthcoming.
The Cougars really have Air Force on their heels, and that's what this offense will do to you. They give you a great mix of run and pass. Averaging 414 yards a game throwing the football, but they've been very good on the ground to complement that air attack.
Bell in that tailback, 3rd and goal, though. Keenum going to keep it. There's a touchdown. He just did get there. The Air Force doesn't agree, but the ball crossed the goal line. So, David, get your calculator out. This might be about a 52-48 game.
I'm old school. I might get the abacus out. Start counting beads.
You don't have enough fingers for what we need on this one.
That's why you have beads. You know, you have more than 10 beads on an abacus.
Manisto on for the extra point. Took over the kicking duties from Ben Bell, who's a pretty good kicker. Had some problem. Use this one. Hooks just inside that left upright. So not much time off the clock here. We're still in the first. 8:10 left in the first quarter, and it's 14-7. Stay tuned. The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. We're going to have some points on the board today in Fort Worth. Meanwhile, back here in Fort Worth, 14-7 already. Houston with the 2 touchdowns on the 2 drives. Air Force on their opening drive. After they fumbled the opening kickoff. Got a chance. The first play from scrimmage went 35 yards, kept it on the ground, went 77 yards for their own touchdown.
And even though Air Force moved the ball at will the first time they touched the football, I don't think they want to get involved in a score-for-score kind of shootout with Houston.
Reggie Rembert, Asher Clark back deep. It's going to be Rembert 3 yards deep. Take the knee and bring it out to the 20. Ground attack of the Falcons taking over 1st and 10 at the 20. Jefferson keeps it ahead for maybe one. How about defending this triple option in whatever variation we'll see today? It's a Cougars defense which has seen it before.
Well, and it takes you out a lot of the things that you do throughout the year against conventional offenses. You have Philip Hunt, one of the top sack men in the country, number 3 in sacks, number 53, the rush end, and now all of a sudden he's got a responsibility of taking the dive man all afternoon.
Clark, short game, ball's loose. Houston has it. No whistles. Cougars bringing it back inside the 15.
It looked like Philip Hunt on the recovery.
And it's going to stand. There was no whistle. Oh, a second fumble by the Air Force.
And some sloppy ball handling by Air Force early in this football game.
Look what I found.
Yeah, that's a play by Philip Hunt. Holiday tree.
Guy with 12 sacks on the year, the defensive player of the year in Conference USA. So the Cougar offense takes over. Obviously great field position again. 1st and 10 just inside the 15. Keenum throws to the end zone, a little bit short though. Incomplete. Iron Carrier, the intended receiver.
Just over $150 left in the first quarter, and 3 possessions. Case Keenum started in positive territory.
Quick throw to the outside. Rodriguez down close to the 5. His third catch, check that, of the afternoon. Got to get to just inside the 5 for a first down. Reggie Rembert on the hit.
This little wrinkle by the Cougars coming out, giving us a look at some no huddle, limiting the substitution patterns of this Air Force defense. Keenum in rhythm.
Gonna throw, receiver fell down, there's no flag. And the ball may have been tipped as well. Aaron Kirchhoff on the coverage. So it'll bring up 4th and goal. Didn't expect to be in this position.
This is a nice play by Kirchhoff. Hafner trying to get inside. Nice anticipation on the crossing route. A ball that Case Keenum usually throws very accurately.
So Jordan Manistow comes on. Keenum's the holder. Did a nice job on the last extra point. Bit wayward snap. This one from just 17 yards. That was a high snap, and again Keenum had to get it back to the turf. It's up and good just inside that left upright again. 22 yards. Manistow with the field goal. But a big stop by that Air Force defense, David.
It was a big stop.
Kirchhoff with the big play at 17-7 Houston. From Fort Worth, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl and the 6th edition. Guys from the Navy represented here. Air Force, Marines, Army, Coast Guard.
We got a look at Navy about a week ago out in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, against Wake Forest.
Yeah, we're kind of doing the Service Academy tour through the bowl season.
Not bad assignments.
And the triple option tour as well.
That's right. That's right. We're going to be well up on our wishbone.
17-7. Reggie Rembert from his own 2. Still up. Spins and finally comes down. Yeah, now he does, out at the 23. So again, Air Force much tougher starting position than Houston has had throughout the game. Jefferson back to work when we come back. Troy Calhoun, the first Air Force grad, a guy who played there to be the head coach, and just the 6th head coach overall for the Falcons. 1st and 10. They keep it on the ground, bring it all the way back outside the 30. It was Spencer Armstrong, the guy who fumbled that opening kick on the carry, but looking for his 2nd straight 9-win season.
Yeah, that'd be what an accomplishment. 2 straight 9-win years, and must be awfully tempting with his background in professional football in the NFL with the Texans and the Broncos. All the passing that's done on Sundays, and then you come back to the triple option.
Jared 2, the fullback on the carry, and there's some people talking before the game with Shanahan out with the Broncos. He was there. They like him there. This is a name that has been mentioned.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one of the more shocking pieces of news I've seen in football in quite some time. Is Shanahan 2 Super Bowls?
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, 2 losing seasons. The Broncos.
2nd and 8. Jefferson. The option, pitching out to Clark. Asher turned the corner, close to a 1st down. We'll see where they mark it. Good burst of speed to get out on the edge by Asher Clark. Well, Troy Calhoun as well has said it's no secret he's been contacted by a number of schools. He'd like to stay at Air Force. They're talking contract and trying to work that out, and it's more about raising the level of pay for his assistants than it is for his position itself. But they are confident that they'll get that done, and he'll be around for a few years at the Air Force Academy. Jared 2, the fullback, for the 1st down. So they keep it on the ground, continue to move the chains.
Hey, look at Troy Calhoun's resume, and he has done such a great job at Air Force. 3 seasons under Mike Shanahan, 2004 through 2006. Of course, he was the offensive coordinator with the Houston Texans.
Saw that graphic. First time since the mid-'80s that a coach in his first 2 years has taken the Falcons to bowl games. First time they've gone back-to-back since '98. Jefferson's looking to throw here. First one of the day. It's complete. That's a 1st down. They don't do it often. Spencer Armstrong, the man who made the catch. And he had some opportunities in that first matchup to go deep.
Well, they were 0 for 7 in the first game, but this was before Tim Jefferson was starting at quarterback. Shea Smith was a starter, and this is a pretty nice ball. I like to play action in the backfield, and he put that on the money.
Straight ahead to the fullback again. 2, and he got caught around the ankle. Still has a 1st down, though. Another big gain. So Jared 2 getting the start for the injured Todd Newell in a gain of 13. He's been a workhorse.
We mentioned too is very capable. He gives you a little burst of speed, and oftentimes in this offense, if you can get that fullback clean through the line of scrimmage, he can split the safeties and take it to the paint.
Got 9 carries for 73 yards already. It was Lumpkin on the carry, stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Kyle Lumpkin, who got a lot of action early in the season. Marcus McGraw, the stop.
This triple option offense, we talked about stopping the fullback dive. That's the first option. Everything in this offense works off of that initial movement by the fullback. A nice job by the defensive front for the Cougars.
Yeah, McGraw, all freshman team in Conference USA. They're going to throw again. Jefferson slings it out. Complete. Short gain this time, though. Stopped just outside the 20. Here's Travis Decker.
Well, you look at Jefferson, and normally when you watch option offenses, you get quarterbacks with some interesting deliveries. They don't have their mechanics, their feet together. Jefferson looks very solid throwing the football, and I think he gives Air Force a very bright future, not just running options and making the decisions on pitches and keeps, but he is going to give them a threat down the field in the throwing game.
Here's that situation they don't want to get in, though. 3rd and long. Yeah, they pick it up, though. Jared 2, the fullback again. He's had a big first half.
This defensive front for Houston has not been a real strength this year. And at times they've been manhandled. They went into that Marshall game with a 3-0 record in conference and really got handled up front on both sides of the ball by Marshall. Nice conversion by Air Force.
Tough decision when you're that linebacker, because you saw McGraw follow Jefferson, the quarterback, and not stay with the dive man. They go back to that play, fighting his way down near the 5 is 2.
And that's a problem when you play against this offense. You start trying to do more than your responsibilities call for. I mean, you've got a defender that's called upon to take the dive man, the fullback. You've got a defender to take the quarterback, and then usually a secondary player is going to come up and take the pitch. But when you start trying to do more than what your job calls for, that's when the defense gets in trouble.
It's a different read. Watching that offensive line too, isn't it? You got so much going on.
It really is.
Jefferson, the pitch coming out this way. Lumped it inside the 5, stayed in bounds. See, it was hit by Kenneth Fontenette.
Well, a lot of our viewers probably wonder, you know, what is in the read with the quarterback? Why does he leave the ball with the fullback, and why does he pull it at times and continue outside? Typically, he's reading the first defender outside of the offensive guard on play side. If that defender comes down and takes the fullback, the quarterback pulls the ball and continues outside on the option.
You saw him with his head up too. He's not looking at his fullback, he's looking outside. Gonna keep it this time. Fights his way to the end zone. Touchdown Air Force. Jefferson on the carry.
He's fun to watch, isn't he?
Well, you got to hesitate if you're a defender. Where's the ball?
He is a great decision maker with the football. Troy Calhoun said, knock on wood. He has not turned the ball over, and he is beyond his years handling the football.
Ryan Harrison on for the extra point. Yeah, he was signaling touchdown to the official as well, making his own call. So Air Force on the ground, Houston in the air, Jefferson for 6. Got a good one going on here in Fort Worth. 3-point lead for Houston, and saw the numbers for Keenum and Jefferson, a 5-yard touchdown run on that last drive.
I'm thinking maybe we give you an abbreviated basic training.
I don't think I can make it through any basic training. Jarrett, too, by the way, already with 88 yards and 11 carries for the Air Force. Harrison set to kick it away, 17-14. Just under 10 minutes left until the break. Here Johnson, Tyron Carrier back deep. It's Carrier from his own 10. Got to see. Look out, far sideline. There is a flag back here at the 30. Harrison, the kicker, made the stop. We'll see what the flag's about, though.
Yeah, you don't want to turn Johnson loose in the open field. He's a 200-meter qualifier in the Olympic trials.
During the return, holding. Number 18 on the return team. That's a 10-yard. First.
Yeah, they'll bring it back. You're right, Carrier ran the 100, 200, qualified for the Olympic trials. Yeah, right there.
You can see right on the outside there. And
so Houston and this powerful offense taking over. 1st and 10. Keenum going to give it on the end around up to the 23. And it was Carrier with that great speed coming around the edge. Time, as you can tell, for our Aflac trivia question. I think you're going to get this one, Mr. Norrie. Who was the last Armed Forces Academy athlete to win the Heisman Trophy?
He played here in the Metroplex professionally.
Don't give it away.
Good kick.
Through the hands of Bryce Bell.
I'll admit, a pretty big hint, though.
Yeah, that's not a bad hint at all. All right, we'll stop there. One of the greats. So Bell can't hang on to it. Shakes his head. Troy Calhoun had a nice conversation with him a couple of days ago about the athletes that he recruits. And, you know, all the different things he has to look for in a high school athlete when you know you're bringing a young man onto campus who's going to spend at least 5 years serving the country after his 4 years at Air Force. Keenum hit as he throws, and incomplete. Tyron Carrier tried to come back for it, couldn't get there.
If you're going to stop Case Keenum in this offense, really, you've got to disrupt Keenum in the pocket. And the pressure Hunter Altman coming on the blitz from his outside linebacker position. Undersized linebacker, but they use him a lot in the blitz packages, and he delivered a nice blow on delivery.
Turner on for the punt. A little more room this time. Last time he was backed up deep in his own end zone. Renji Remberg, the sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas, comes up. Actually, Spencer Armstrong eventually made that fair catch. Just a 32-yard punt. Good field position again when we come back. Wants to throw again. Throws complete near the 30, first down. So he's getting some rhythm. Keith Manson, the backup tight end, senior from San Marcos, California, on the catch.
Yeah, he has a very natural delivery, and with the threat of the triple option, oftentimes Tim Jefferson's going to get a lot of time to throw in the pocket. See how he snapped that ball off on the curl route. Effortless delivery.
And now back to the running game. Jared 2 on the carry, short gain.
And Jefferson has to be upset. He missed a shot on that post on the last play. Cousins.
Alderman in motion on 3rd and 7. Had trouble taking the snap. Well, timing was off entirely on that play. Armstrong, the intended receiver, was open again.
Yeah, Armstrong got knocked off his route, lost his balance at the top of the route, and again, Tim Jefferson delivering the ball with some velocity.
Already 9 attempts, and most of them in the last 2 possessions. So no matter what, before going in the locker room, he's planning something in that the mind of the Houston Cougars coaches. That's another threat from the air. This one, Harrison, 44 yards. Just missed one a moment ago. This one's through the uprights, though. So Ryan Harrison with the field goal. We're deadlocked at 17. 17 all. Houston and Air Force, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. We send it back to the studio. As we approach the new year, the bowl season rolls on back here in Fort Worth for the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Houston and Air Force, a good one going on here. We are deadlocked at 17 here at halftime. Hi again, everybody. Terry Gannon back with David Norrie. A hot start for Houston. They had great field position throughout the first half, but Air Force with a couple of big stops. What have they done defensively against this #1 offense in the country in Case Keenum?
I think in the secondary they've done a nice job of switching up their looks. They've brought some blitzes, and in the front 3 for Air Force has played exceptionally well. And Case Keenum got off to a hot start. You know, I've been surprised, Terry, the way that Air Force has gotten away from their triple option game and decided to let Tim Jefferson air it out a bit.
Yeah, Troy Calhoun and the offensive coaches for Air Force in that second quarter especially went the wind too, and the wind has been brisk here at Amon G. Carter Stadium. So Jefferson 5 of 9 for 86 yards, and Spencer Armstrong able to get deep a number of different times against the secondary of Houston. Jared Dew, the backup fullback, normally with 86 yards in the game, or excuse me, 95 yards with that last carry in the game already. So the offense at least planting that seed in the defensive coaches' minds of Houston that there's a throwing attack too.
Yeah, and when you came into this football game on paper, you never had the feeling that the passing numbers would be close to even at halftime.
Yeah, 113 yards for Keenum. He averages almost 400 yards in the air a game.
And this is the #1 rated offense in the country. They're averaging 414 yards a game through the air alone. They've been very effective on the ground for Coach Sumlin to complement that pass attack, but you got to give a lot of credit to Air Force and the way they played defensively. They've been a team that has not been afraid to play some man-to-man on the outside. They've changed up their looks in the secondary, and I think they've had Keenum out of rhythm since that first possession of the football game.
Ryan Harrison, who hit the 55-yarder in the first half, but the timeout was called right prior to that and then missed on the real trot. He's on some problems kicking off this year, but he's been a great field goal kicker for the Falcons. Back deep, Tyron Carrier, who did have a fumble on a kickoff return in the first half, so just about set to go for the second half of the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Now this one is short, taken at the 25. Pierre Johnson brought down right away. Houston had won the toss
and elected to defer to the second, so they will start 1st and 10. Again, these are the weapons offensively for the nation's #1 offense.
You look at Hafner, the tight end, Carrier, a wide receiver that really emerged late season with some big number games in November, and they've been held at bay. Case Keenum, he's been a quarterback that has done most of his best work in the second half of ball games, and I think we're going to see Houston start to warm things up.
They take over 1st and 10 from the 31, and a big hole, big gain for Bryce Bell, the freshman from Tatum, Texas, and guy who's gone over 1,000 yards this year. Came into the game with 1,112 yards. Wouldn't call him a surprise. They expected big things, but certainly a pleasant part of that offense that not everyone expected them to see have that big an impact. A gain of 17. We'll go to him again, and a solid gain of about 4 on 1st down. Go back to that thought that we had early in the game about 1st down being so important for both of these two teams. Houston, they get in 3rd and long and they can throw it. For Air Force, though, they've been very good on 1st down.
That's true, and you know, with Keenum, he'd like to stay out of the 3rd and long situations because of the pressure that Air Force can apply with that defensive front.
2nd and 6, play action under pressure, trying to set that screen up, and he does. Andre Kahn with a blocker ahead of him, far sideline, and a big gain all the way down to the 28 of Air Force. 20 yards on the play.
Houston has been so good with the screen game throughout the season. Keenum, a nice gift of drawing those defensive front players to him and then swinging the ball outside. Nice blocks by Jordan Shoemaker, the left guard, and Carl Barnett, the center, getting downfield.
Shoemaker just a sophomore. Bootleg, roll out, Keenum throws, right on target. Close to the 10, E.J. Smith on the catch, the redshirt freshman from Camden, Mississippi.
Case Keenum reminds me a lot of Riley Skinner, the quarterback at Wake Forest. You know, his numbers actually get better the more he moves. He has a nice ability to throw the ball accurately on the run.
Bell on the ground inside the 5. So this offense going right through that Air Force defense to start the second half.
Yeah, this is where they become a load, when they get that mix of run and pass. And when Case Keenum can hit balls and distribute the football in the pass game, it opens up a lot of seams and cracks for Bell to work with between the tackles.
But you saw what they did. They rolled him out. He had faced some pressure in the pocket and got outside of it. Bell bounces outside, hit hard. At the 4, just stuck. Well, there's your man again, Chris Thomas from Westerville, Ohio, along with Jake Paulson, who is a big standout defensive end.
Yeah, some kids are just born to play football. Chris Thomas is a football player through and through. He loves to come up, lead with that headgear, and when he hits you, you know it.
3rd and goal from just inside the 5. A 3 of 7 on 3rd downs today. Keenum with time, stepping up, trying to get there. Hit at the goal line, spins his way into the end zone. Took a shot, but he got 6 on the board.
Case Keenum, we talked about his numbers passing, his accuracy, but how about his toughness? Takes on Chris Thomas, a strong safety, helmet to helmet at the goal line. That's just a tremendous effort by Keenum to break the goal line.
And now the holder for the extra point. Jordan Manisto on. Just a freshman. Yep. So a great opening drive for the Houston Cougars, reminding you of why they're the nation's top offense this year. Case Keenum, only a sophomore. Cougars are up by 7.
It is 24-17. This is a bowl game. It's not just in name only. I mean, the Armed Forces fully embrace this, and it's a proud part of the Fort Worth tradition here.
We have it lucky, don't we? The servicemen over in Iraq, service women.
From his 8, Reggie Rember. Good return out to the 29, powering his way to the 30 and beyond for Air Force. Pretty impressive opening drive for Houston, though, and Dana Holgorsen, who's in his first year as the offensive coordinator here after 8 years at Texas Tech.
Yeah, he's done a terrific job, and of course the last 3 of those years under Mike Leach at Texas Tech, the offensive coordinator. A great sense of pride, leading the #1 ranked offense in the country, averaging 575 yards per game.
Similar offense to Texas Tech as well.
Very similar in their scheme.
All right, 1st and 10, Air Force. Here comes the option this way. Jefferson spun up to the 34 by Jake Ebner, who's a senior from Texas. He's played everything from offensive lineman to tight end, fullback, a blocking back throughout his career. Now on the defensive line. But a gain of 4 for Jefferson, the freshman from Atlanta. Under center, hands it off to Asher Clark, another freshman, first-year player. About 3 yards short, maybe a couple of yards short of that first down. Marcus McGraw, speaking of freshmen, on the hit. Big day for 2.
Yeah, he has had a nice day, and the fullback, such an important part of this offense. Newell out, usually the starter.
So we'll see. Perhaps not on this play, but overall, the opening drive of the second half, what Troy Calhoun wants to do. Remember, he went to the air often in that second quarter, which they don't normally do. Hands it off to the fullback, and 2 has a first down. They'll move the chains.
It'll be interesting to see if Air Force rededicates themselves to the run. Co-offensive coordinators Clay Hendricks and Blaine Morgan. Clay Hendricks handles the offensive line. Blaine Morgan, the quarterbacks. And remember, Morgan, 20-3 as a starter at Air Force.
Quick pitch. Lumpkin outside. Can't get entirely outside. Run out of bounds. Kyle Lumpkin from Cincinnati. And the 3rd leading rusher with over 400 yards this year.
And watch 2 here. He doesn't make the block. He falls to his knees there in front. Can't quite get into the defender's legs.
Yeah, C.J. Cavness, the man who made the stop, was able to get around him.
And you still watch Tim Jefferson. He is very sharp with his pitches, and oftentimes he'll come down the line of scrimmage and he'll let go of that pitch late, but rarely does he fail to deliver the football accurate.
In the shotgun now on 3rd and 6. Quick throw near sideline, has a man complete inside the 40. We'll see. Close. Josh Cousins, the man who made the catch, his first of the afternoon.
Jefferson looks sharp throwing the football.
Asher Clark going nowhere. Lubachowski, Cavness, the 2 linebackers, met him immediately. His 4-3 scheme, John Skladany switching it from the 3-4 last year.
Lubachowski's been a very steady performer, a steady force. Not great speed, not real flashy, but he's a heck of a player inside a phone booth in tight spaces.
Got 8 tackles already in the game. 2nd and 15. There's that late pitch you talked about. Clark brought down, though. Collard at the 35. Marcus McGraw. This guy's going to be a player.
And he looks the part. You see him on the hoof, and he looks like an outside linebacker that's going to give you problems. Jefferson always does a nice job of threatening the defensive end, and did a pretty good job of threatening McGraw there. McGraw, the ability to take the quarterback, then get outside and make the tackle.
He's got double figures already today. 10 tackles in the game from Marcus McGraw. 3rd and 8. Situation Air Force doesn't want to get in. Jefferson throws complete. Good tackle. Not going to get to the first down marker. Brandon Brinkley on the hit.
And Brinkley was tight, not given much cushion here, and watch the arm strength, the ball placement on the outside. Cousins a nice job of making the catch, but Brinkley is a cornerback that shows up on film. And he's a guy that'll jump routes. He's aggressive. For a defense that is not really highly touted, he's been a rare bright spot in that secondary.
Leads him with 4 interceptions. He's had some big plays this year. They're going again. They're 1 for 2 on 4th down. It's 4th and 2. Jefferson cuts back, has it. First down, Air Force. A gain of 5 for Tim Jefferson.
Now, this was a great job by Jefferson, recognizing the defensive end, getting up the field. And of Quarterback's going to be overplayed, and a nice job by Jefferson to duck back up inside and pick up the first down. See Jefferson recognize that seam up inside the tackle, and he goes ahead and takes it.
I mean, you talk about that read and the experience it takes. He is a freshman. He's still learning, but he makes great decisions running this show. Kyle Lumpkin. Short gain along the right side. 3rd and long. Jefferson trying to get outside. Stiff arms one. Hit hard and run out. He was blasted by Lubajowski. Nick Sainz also in on the stop. Well, they've gone for it on 4th a number of times, but they got the kicking team out there now. Yeah, 4th and 6. A little bit too long for Troy Calhoun to think about it now. So Harrison on for a 37-yard try. And it's good. Well, it is the quintessential Air Force drive. They came up short, had to put 3 on the board, but they took it all the way down the field. We've got just 3:51 left here in the 3rd.
The Commander-in-Chief Trophy dominated by Navy the last 6 years. Air Force great series prior to that. I mentioned the Hudson's struggled in terms of that, but a big source of pride in the service academies. Short kick again from Harrison, and that's what he's done throughout the year. We head to the 4th here in Fort Worth. 24-20, Houston on top.
General David Petraeus, the current commander of U.S. Central Command, on hand at this particular bowl game for the 2nd time. And this week, David, he was presented the Great American Patriot Award here, which is given out at this bowl game. And a guy who has done so much for his country.
Highly deserved.
First down. Case Keenum. They set up the screen. Nice catch. Bell with room. Cuts back. Still up. Inside the 10. Can he get there? Just shy. Bryce Bell almost took it all the way.
And so much a part of Keenum's success this year, dropping the ball to backs, giving them the opportunity to run after the catch. 57 receptions by running backs for the Cougars this year.
Bell's going to try to take it in on the ground this time. Got to the goal line, and Air Force has the football right now. They're looking to the officials, who I think ruled it dead at the 1. Yep. And it'll be 2nd down for Houston.
The player was ruled down on the play. Down on the play. 2nd down.
Cougars continuing to use no huddle offense. Playing well, moving the football, picking up yards. A lot of times you just want to get that offensive line in and out of the huddle quickly, and so many offensive coaches talk about rhythm.
They're going to take another look at this now. Going to review this play and see if he indeed was down.
And the Cougars hurried up to the line of scrimmage and snapped the ball quickly. Inside handoff.
It almost looks from that angle like he got to the end zone.
It sure did.
Where's the football, though?
Yeah, and when the football did come loose, it's a matter of whether that ball was coming loose before he hit the ground. I'll tell you what.
I think it's a touchdown.
I think it might be a live football. I mean, it's tough to tell whether he broke the plane from that angle, but I think it gives you a good enough look that the football's coming loose.
After replay, review shows the ball was fumbled forward into the end zone, recovered by Air Force. Therefore, it is a touchback. First down.
Wow.
Wow is right. So that's the 4th option. So you can have 4 things they came back with there, and they came back with a touchback.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that there could be a touchback there, Terry, and you know, if the ball comes loose, clearly it's recovered and down in the end zone by Air Force. So if he did fumble the football, it was going to be a touchback.
Yeah, it looked like he got to the end zone, that he broke the plane. Troy Calhoun's club coming up with that fumble. So then once you make that distinction that he did get to break the plane, when did the ball come loose? Well, and they rule it came loose before his knee touched the ground.
I think that was key in the decision. They had ruled on the field that he had not broken the plane, and so then it became a point of, or an issue of, did he fumble the football before he went down? And I think it was pretty clear that he did. even with the limited angles that we have.
Just a huge play. Air Force 1st and 10 from their own 20. They keep it on the ground with Jared 2. And he struggles ahead for about 3 on 1st down. So Air Force trailing by 4, coming up with the big stop at the goal line.
How good has this Air Force defense been with their backs against the wall? Countless short fields for Case Keenum and the #1 offense in the country.
That's the 3rd time they've made a stop and either forced a field goal or no points on the board. Cavness chasing down Jefferson. CJ, the junior, in the second half showing great speed.
Well, yeah, but he didn't show great decision-making qualities on that play. You know, sometimes you got to be content with a 1 or 2 yard gain, and he continues to run laterally and give up ground. And Cavness, nice play rallying to the football and making the play in the open field.
So it's 3rd down, 3rd and long. Jefferson pressure from behind, down he goes. Never saw it. Philip Hunt finally gets an opportunity for a sack in this game. He's got 13 on the year, and Jefferson's shaken up.
And Jefferson wasn't too excited about this first opportunity for Philip Hunt. You see the top of the screen, speed rush. And just a tremendous move, beating Keith Williams, the senior left tackle. 13th sack on the season, one of the top 3 sack specialists in the country.
Now watch the return for Carriers. He had a couple of good ones. Not going to have a chance this time. And a short punt. And it comes dead at the 42. Just a 29-yard punt for Ryan Harrison. So they come up with the stop. They recover the fumble, the touchback, but now again, great field position for the Houston Cougars, the #1 offense in the country. Hunt on the sack. Cougars on offense when we come back. Special graduation ceremony held December 17th for some of those on the football team. Travis Decker, tight end, Todd Newell, fullback, Ty Paffett, a wide receiver, their family and friends there, and an emotional day, no doubt, for them. You think about it, it is different. I mean, it's an emotional thing as a senior leaving college anyway, but for a member of the service academy, whether it's here, Navy, or Army, it's different.
It really is. When are you going to get the opportunity to do that yourself at North Carolina State, Terry?
See? I'm so glad the season's over. Quick throw, complete. Chas Rodriguez on the catch. And they're working on Tim Jefferson on that sideline, that right ankle.
Terry, when you finally graduate, that's going to be an emotional day for me.
Will you be there?
I will be there. I'll be in the front row.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
With a noisemaker and a hat.
I'm doing okay. I graduated, if anybody wondering. Breaking through is Bell inside the 20, down to the 12. How about the second half for this man, Bryce Bell, whether they hand it to him or throw it to him?
Now, the Houston coaching staff told us earlier this week it didn't take us long to realize that Bell was our best tailback, the guy that gave us the best talent. And we mentioned not a lot of lateral, not a lot of east-west to him, but he hits the hole in a hurry.
Gain of 24. They set up the screen. It's been good. Andre Carr to the end zone. Touchdown. Back up tailback, the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. 13 yards, and that play has been very good to Houston. So how about the turn of events with the fumble into the end zone, the touchback, but the defense coming up big, forcing the punt, and just like that, Houston with 6 more on the board. Jordan Manisto on for the extra point. And good again. 11-point lead. It was 4 points just a moment ago. Well, the screen game for them. Andre Kahn leaping his way for 6, and Keenum getting the rhythm now in the second half. Livestock industry, big part of the history here in Texas and the Fort Worth area. Did you buy a 10-gallon hat or some boots the last couple of days?
No, but I tried to get a horse ride down there near the stockyards.
What, out to the stadium?
for the game today?
I said come back next year. I said I'll be back tomorrow.
Fourth quarter. Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Houston with that 11-point lead. Remember, Houston on an 8-game bowl losing streak. They haven't won a bowl since 1980. Irish broke their streak. Cougars looking to do the same. Asher Clark, some problems, dropped the football and then brought it back out. Couldn't get to the 20-yard line, though. So some work to do for this Air Force offense. Stack eye, they're going to run that option. Kyle Lumpkin trying to get outside, stays in bounds after a gain of 2, maybe 3. Run down by Lubajowski, who's had a big afternoon. So it's 31-20. Clock under 8 minutes in this one here. Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth. Terry Gannon, David Norrie, but Air Force now with a chance. Houston trying to get rid of that graphic right there. And Air Force hasn't won a bowl since 2000. Give it to the fullback. Jared Two's had a big day.
You know, I was a bit surprised at the play call, even with Houston's pass-heavy play calling throughout the year. When you have a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, I think it sets up, you know, a 2nd down run. And then if you have to throw on 3rd down, fine. But with 11-point lead, not big on taking risks with the football.
2 carrying people inside the 10. Still finally down at the 6. Boy, Jared 2, not even your normal starter. It's Todd Newell. Newell, their leading rusher, but out with an ankle injury.
Yeah, 2's running hungry, number 42, and the Air Force here wants to make this a 1-score game.
He's got 141 yards today, David. And more inside the 5. Tim Jefferson is back with that injured ankle or knee, we'll see, but he is back and okay. He's playing.
We talked to Troy Calhoun about 2 and how he was stepping in for Newell. Coach Calhoun said, hey, you know, 2 showed his speed against TCU when he ripped off that 58-yard touchdown run.
Looking for it again. Stopped at the 2. Marcus McGraw. Well, that's pretty good trio of linebackers. McGraw's had a big day. Lubajowski's had a big day. They've got this man for 3 more years.
I've been waiting for that all afternoon. For you to make that call. 2 to the 2.
And I'm a poet and don't know it. I didn't even realize. 3rd and goal now. From just inside the 2.
I think you have to keep the football on the ground here because you want to create a situation where you have that decision to go for it on 4th and goal. Put the ball in the air here, and I think if you come up with an incomplete pass, you're going to have to go with a field goal attempt.
Jefferson under center. Gives it to 2. Can he get there? Yeah, he does. Second effort. Gets to the end zone. Not over yet here in Fort Worth.
Air Force getting set to go for 2. Going to try to cut this lead to 3. And this offensive line was given an opportunity when Hafner couldn't secure the football on a well-thrown ball from Keenum. Talk about a team given new life, a second breath.
2 in there at fullback again. Jefferson, long count, coming this way. Can he get there? Yeah, he does. And it is a 3-point game. So all year long, you've got Houston, the team, who's fallen behind and made big comebacks. I mean, 3 different comebacks when they were down 17 points, 19 points. Here it's Air Force.
Yeah, this is just a great job by Jefferson. Looks like he's going to go down about the 2-yard line. Now watch him keep his balance. He struggles to keep both knees off the ground. Cracks the goal line. We should do a little coverage of the armed services next year. What they're bringing to the table.
See, the wheels are turning now.
Yeah.
Shadows
always turning.
Shadows beginning to creep across the field here in Fort Worth, and Harrison about to kick it away. And we've got ourselves a football game. Plenty of time left. 6:06 And it's a 3-point lead for Houston. Tyron Carrier back deep at his own 6 with a chance to bring this one back. Not anymore. Out to the 25, and that's where the Houston offense will start. So you look at what they did. They were moving the football on that previous drive. They got to the end zone prior to that to make an 11-point game. And they're moving the chains, working it along, and wasn't a bad pass, but Hafner had to go off of his pads. They turn it over, and that quickly Air Force able to get to the end zone, make this a game now.
You know, we've been talking about how music has played a big part this year, and I know you're a big AC/DC fan, Terry. So I got you the little black book, 90 songs, music and lyrics of AC/DC.
I'm touched. I don't have anything for you. I didn't hear any of their music going to break all year long, so with the new album. Coming this way, here comes Bell with a blocker. Carrier the man, 21 yards. I was checking out my AC/DC book. He's had a big afternoon, especially in the second half, and a look at that Olympic speed.
Now, when you have this kind of speed, you do a lot of different things offensively to get the ball in a young man's hands, and a nice job on the keep.
Big toss, L.J. Castillo along the near sideline, and they're already in Air Force territory, inside the 40-yard line, as a matter of fact. So, you know, Case Keenum, it doesn't take him long. And it wasn't, the interception was not his fault in any way, shape, or form. Try to set up that screen, which has been good to them. Kahn scored on it last time, not this time. So he's dropped at the 30. Houston trying to run this clock out with the yards by half, 221 in the second half for the Cougars.
Houston still well below 575 they average per game on offense.
Big third down here, David. Keenum over the middle, caught, but at the 20-yard line, so that's shy of the first down. E.J. Smith, the redshirt freshman, with the catch.
Yeah, this is decision time here. This is going to be an interesting decision. The field goal doesn't get a lot done for you. This is a bowl game. I think this is, you know, when you look at the type of offense that Sumlin lines up, I think he might go for it here on 4th and 3. Try to put this game away.
They're going to go for the field goal here. 37-yard attempt. Jordan Manistow. Against the wind, and good. Inside that left upright. So Kevin Sumlin does not go for it. He goes for the field goal and elects to put 3 on the board. But it's a 6-point game now.
Yeah, and this is the solid call to go for the field goal. But I thought maybe in a bowl game you roll the dice a bit, you try to put the football game away. And now all of a sudden you put the game in Air Force's hands. If they can drive the length of the field and score a touchdown, they pick up the W. Nice kick by Manistow in a pressure situation.
But Troy Calhoun, I think if you told him this about 10 minutes ago, he would take it in a heartbeat. This situation with his team about to get the kickoff and have a chance to win the game on the final drive. Houston offense averaging 575 yards, leading the nation. 392 today, but good enough to lead right now. I mean, all you're trying to do is win, not put up numbers.
It's true. Ultimately, that's all you're interested in, is coming out with a win, especially in a bowl game. Case Keenum, talked about at the top, Terry. He's going to be mentioned in some of the Heisman talk next year. Numbers that matched up pretty favorably with the Bradfords, the Tebows, the McCoys of the world.
Armstrong, Rembert back deep. Reggie Rembert from his own 12, trying to give the Falcons good field position for this drive. And does cross the 35 to the 36, so that's where the Falcons will start. All right, back here. 3:18 left, and Air Force down to 1 timeout. They run straight ahead with Jared 2, and nothing doing. So the clock continues to run. With that one time, it's a difficult assignment here.
Well, it wouldn't be a difficult assignment for most offenses because 3 minutes, clock stops on first down. In college football, you have plenty of time, even without a timeout. Air Force still holding on to one, but the way that Air Force moves the ball, you chew up big chunks of clock on every play.
Yep, we're going to go to the shotgun now. Jefferson looking to throw, does incomplete. A little bit high.
We talk about all the strengths of this offense, how tough it is to prepare for the triple option, how tough it is to duplicate the looks and practices for your defense, how it takes so long to get used to the execution and the speed of this offense. But this is one of the downfalls, Terry. When you're trailing late in a football game, this is not the offensive scheme that you'd prefer trying to win a football game.
No, especially when there's not much of a question mark as to what you're going to do. Don't have that threat of the running game. Quick and broken up. Big play again. Brandon Brinkley on the hit. He timed it perfectly. Josh Cousins, the man he hit, but Brinkley's had a big afternoon.
I really like Brinkley's anticipation. He diagnoses plays early, and look at him get the head across. That is a solid tackle. He times up his hit on the arrival of the football.
So with 2:38 left, it comes down to this. Trying to keep this drive in the game alive. 4th and 8. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Houston will take over. Cody Lubajowski. Well, he's been a durable, dependable part of this defense throughout his career. Coming up on his final drive with a huge play.
And this has to be deflating for Air Force. 4th down, and they don't even get the ball beyond the line of scrimmage on the pass attempt. Lubajowski, heroic play late, getting an arm up. Really surprised, I think, Jefferson with his last moment ability there to rise up, elevate, and get a hand on the football.
1980. Last time they won a bowl game, and that may change here. Bell, short game. He had a good afternoon too, Bell.
The Air Force going to use their last time out, and if they can hold Houston on downs here and not allow a field goal or any type of score, they should get the ball back right around a minute to go.
Capital One player of the game, Bryce Bell, 134 yards on the ground. They threw it to him as well, got it to the end zone. So Bell, who went over 1,000 yards for the year as a freshman, and the freshman of the year, pretty good in the bowl game too.
Didn't play much in that first game against Air Force. Was not the starter early.
Going to pitch it coming back this way. No room. So Carrier run out of bounds. You're right. I mean, and he goes out of bounds.
That's not a heady play. And if you're going to run that play in the huddle, the coaches and the quarterback have to be talking to the individual that's going to be carrying the football. Under no circumstances can you run the ball out of bounds there. And he had plenty of opportunity to go down to the turf. And it looked like Carrier just kind of gave up on the play and sauntered out of bounds. And for Air Force, that's as good as a timeout.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's 3rd and 7 now, and you've got 2 minutes left in the game. Bell still up. He's got a first down, stays inbounds, and that could do it. Air Force out of timeouts. What a huge play. And they go to their back for a gain of 20.
And I'll tell you, for the #1 rated offense in the country, and you watch Keenum throw the football, you watch a lot of tape on him. To me, what's most impressive is the way he gets the ball to the backs. And close to 60 receptions in the regular season for the running backs, 30 catches on the year for Bell. They're so good with the screen game and the accuracy that Keenum delivers the ball outside to his backs. He always gives it to him in good shape to turn the football up and pick up positive yardage after the catch.
So Case Keenum under center now, hands it off to Bell, stacked up right at the line, but the clock will continue to run. burn their timeouts.
You really shouldn't have run a play there. You fumble the football there and it goes the other way, and you'll be thinking about that for years. I think you go to a knee and you get into the tunnel. There's no reason not to go to a knee on first down.
I've seen it happen many times. So 1980 will just be a distant memory. That win, the last one, 8 straight that they've lost. And Kevin Sumlin, his first year as the head coach, the 43-year-old for Houston, is going to win a bowl game.
What a job he has done in his first year. And a lot of momentum. This Houston team's going to be the favorite, most likely, in Conference USA. All the players they're going to have back, including a heck of a quarterback.
Keenum to an, oh, they almost missed him. They got the coordinator. Okay, so they're spreading the wealth. Cougars with Case Keenum, #1 offense in the country, a win in the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. You know that they're extremely happy to not be mentioned among the list, you know, from now on. Longest streak without a bowl win.
Well, an impressive performance by Air Force. They fought the entire game, made a great game of it late with the turnover and the touchdown. And Houston, a lot to look forward to next year. A lot of the pieces will still be intact.
On a chilly afternoon in Fort Worth, the Cougars with the win, 34-28. Wasn't easy. They made it interesting down the stretch with the interception. Air Force hung in it, and you know they're never going to go away. But Troy Calhoun, terrific first 2 years of his career at Air Force. And that does it on our football season, partner. It's been a great one. Enjoyed it. For David Norrie, our entire crew, Jonathan Lebovich, Larry Cavallina, our director. So long from Fort Worth. Let's go back to the studio.